Welcome to Bragg Radio, being rich and generous. Bragg Radio is hosted by best-selling real estate investor.
Hey. Hold on a second. Chad.
Yeah.
I want to hear you do that intro in the radio voice.
Oh, okay.
You can't do a radio voice. You sound
No, I
weird.
can't.
You sounds like some
Let's do
kind
it.
of
Let's do
stranger
it.
danger
Let me
voice.
stop
Keep it
the
going.
music. Here we go. Ready? It's time to brag. Be rich and generous. Bragg Radio, hosted by best-selling real estate investing author Larry Goins and co-host Kandas. For the next hour, they'll show you proven and effective ways you can be successful in real estate. For the WBT Studios, the flagship station of the Bragg Radio Network, here are your hosts, the rock stars of real estate, Larry and Kandas. How was that?
I love it, man. You're awesome. You are the bomb. Can you do it every Saturday like that? That is awesome.
Yeah, we probably get calls.
No, it'll lose it.
We'd probably get calls.
Yeah, complaint calls.
You think so?
It'll lose
Well, then
its,
stop listening.
It'll lose its emphasis if you do
Yes.
it every week.
Yeah.
It won't.
You can only do it on special occasions.
So great.
That's awesome. I love it. Wow. I bet you've never.
Hurts.
I bet you've never had hosts ask you to do that before.
I have not, no. Usually they say just sit there and don't say anything.
Just be calm. Don't say anything.
We like you to be involved, Chad. We like you to be involved.
Okay, good.
That's awesome.
This is
That
a
is
show
good.
about real estate every once in a while, guys. If you're listening.
Yeah, if you could understand the DJ voice. That's hilarious. Yeah, Bragg Radio, all about being rich and generous. We use real estate to do that, to use Candace's line that she says. We teach people how to invest in real estate, and we invest in real estate ourselves. We're active investors as well as passive investors, business and passive income. So, Candace, we've got a really, really great show planned. We've been working really, really hard on it
You
for
are
weeks.
such a liar.
I am so excited about
They
this show.
know you're lying.
This is a topic that we get more requests on than anything. I'm right about that, aren't I?
You're right about that. You're
Yeah.
not lying about that part.
This is... I can't even do it now. So... this is a topic you've all been waiting for. You have asked, and we deliver. We're going to talk about HUD houses. Dun, dun, dun. I need some sound effects on my phone.
When we don't have sound effects, we definitely need to have sound effects.
We do need sound effects. Chad said the studio is not capable of that. So
We talked about that last week.
yeah. So we're going to talk about HUD houses. You know what? HUD is the...
We get a lot of questions about it. But you market, we market you as the HUD guy because we've been the leading buyer of HUD homes in North and South Carolina.
That's right. That's right. I
in
wrote the
years
book about
past.
it.
Yeah, so I'm not surprised that we get a lot of questions regarding HUD.
We've had a ton of people, of listeners, from the show, stop by and get a copy of my HUD book called HUD Homes Half Off. And we're still buying and selling a lot of HUD houses. We just sold one of them yesterday morning. It was a house that we picked up for $36,000. We sold it for $49,900, actually $48,900. I gave him a $1,000 discount because he was buying it for his daughter. And
You're such a good guy.
well, thank you very much.
Now, whose shares that coming out of?
so-
Yours or the company's? Ha ha.
It all comes out of the same pocket, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, anyway, and we also got a great deal that we just sold, a house that I think we might have talked about it in an episode or two. We got this house for $144,000. We sold it for $169,900, and it's already closed, sold, done, and and it was listed for $215,000.
On MLS, yeah.
Yeah, on MLS, and we picked it. It was a HUD house, and we picked it up for $144,000, sold it for $169,000, $25,000.
So don't come here saying that you can't buy HUD houses for less than list price because we ain't going to believe you.
That's exactly right. So the first thing I want to share about a HUD house, okay? First thing I want to share about a HUD house is a lot of people say, what is a HUD house? What is a HUD house? Okay? What is a HUD house? So, sorry. I just get fired up. So what is a HUD house? A HUD house is basically...
I think Chad's intro has gotten you a little bit too wound up.
Maybe so. I don't know.
You're very animated right now. Or is this Larry After Dark?
Maybe so. I don't know.
We're going to switch out the Van Halen for Kenny G next time.
That's funny right there. I don't care who you are. All right. So anyway, what is a HUD house? Somebody went and got an FHA loan, okay, to buy a house to live in it. All right. They got an FHA loan. Now, HUD, FHA, and HUD are the same thing, okay? Federal Housing Administration, Housing and Urban Development, same thing, okay? So HUD or FHA does not make loans. FHA insures loans. In other words, the bank makes the loan. Let's say you got a loan at Wells Fargo. It's an FHA loan. They underwrite it to FHA's guidelines, and then they get the borrower gets the loan, and a portion of their payment goes to pay an insurance premium every month to HUD or FHA. And then what happens? What?
You step away from the mic, step right back.
And then what happens is a portion of that insurance proceeds every month, it's a premium, like a what do they call it? I forget what they call that. I forget. Anyway, I'll come back to it. But a portion of their payment every month is to pay for the insurance. So in the event the borrower defaults, then the lender contacts FHA or HUD and says the borrower defaulted, and then HUD buys that loan from the bank, and then HUD files foreclosure and gets the property back. Okay? So that's how a house becomes a HUD house. All right? So a lot of people call it PMI. That's what it is. Private mortgage insurance, but this is an insurance premium that goes toward HUD is what I was trying to think of. Anyway, so that's what a HUD house is. The reason that I like HUD houses is one of the simplest ways I've seen to do deals, okay? Because
it's very clean.
There's no negotiating. Yeah. There is no putting out bandit signs. There's no going back and forth. I love bandit signs. Don't get me wrong. I love it. You're shaking your head like, what are you talking about? So, you don't have to do marketing, in other words, to get deals. You get them right there on HUD. And I've bought HUD houses in multiple states, okay? So basically, all HUD houses are the only place in the world you can buy or bid on a HUD house is at HUDHomestore.com. HUDHomestore.com. Now, all the HUD houses are listed by an agent, and all the bids are submitted by an agent that has what's called an NAID number. That stands for National Identifier Number, okay? National Identifier Number, all right? So all HUD houses are at HUDHomestore.com, and all the bids have to be put in by an agent with an NAID number. We have our own agent that we use that puts in all of our bids for us. Well, the agent has what they call their unlicensed assistant. Right? Mm-hmm. And agents can have an unlicensed assistant to do clerical work, and just placing the bids, entering them online is clerical work. They're not negotiating the contract or anything that you have to be licensed to do, okay? And we actually pay that assistance fee as well, their payroll. We pay for them as well. So anyway, so I love HUD houses, and when we come back from the break, I'm going to tell you all of the benefits and the main reasons that I love HUD houses, in addition to that you can get them at deep, deep discounts. In the meantime, Kandas, tell them what they need to do.
You need to call 877-LARRY-GO. If you have any questions so far about the show, send those in to info@bragradio.com or give a call to 877-LARRY-GO. We can get you set up with the digital investors kit if you are not close enough to the office to come by and grab the physical kit. If you are, we can schedule a tour. Come by, grab that kit, take a tour, meet everybody that's in the office. We've got the 3-day event coming up in Charlotte here next weekend, so we can get you registered for that too. 877-LARRY-GO. We'll be right back.
Chad, the heck is that?
It's Roxette. Come on.
We had to calm you down a little bit. You get too hyper.
Oh, my gosh.
You get too hyper.
Let me hear a quick intro again to crank us back up. Just real quick. 5 seconds.
Here's Larry. And Kandas.
That's better.
You
That's
guys are
better.
listening to what's supposed to be Bragg Radio, investing in real estate to be rich and generous. We have been talking about HUD houses. The whole first segment, Larry went through different things, kind of what makes a HUD house, how you can bid on them, how realtors bid on them, things like that. And we're back.
And we're back. So, yeah, HUD is a hot topic, right?
It is. People love HUD houses. We're doing great with them. So, I mean, I don't understand why some people say they can't get good deals on HUD houses because we're able to. I think they're just looking in the wrong places. You're definitely not going to get one in downtown Charlotte for the deep discounts like what we get them for.
That's so true. In fact, I had somebody on the webinar we did this week that said, Larry, I've just tried HUD and, and I put in bids and I just didn't get a deal, so I gave up. I'm like, well, how long did you bid? They're like, 2 days. Like, that's not going to work.
We got to get you a buzzer button.
I know. I need some sound effects. I got to Google that.
Put your phone down.
Chad, is there a place you can buy sound effects for the radio?
This is not the conversation we need to have on the radio.
I'm sorry. That's why you're called the Squirrel Wrangler.
I'm telling you, it's worse. Everywhere we go, there's squirrels. He just meets them. He just meets squirrels and just...
All right, so let's get back to HUD houses.
So you were going to tell everybody why HUD houses are your favorite, other than just being able to get them in deep discounts.
Yeah, because you can bid online. All HUD houses are at HUDHomestore.com. Bids are put in by an agent with what's called an NAID number or National Identifier Number. And one of the reasons I like HUD houses is there's so much detailed information about HUD houses. So much detailed information. Every HUD house that is listed at HUDHomestore.com is has what's called a PCR. Write this down. PCR. That stands for Property Condition Report. Check this out. Now,
some of them also have an ECR.
What's an ECR?
Is it ECR? Environmental. Yeah, the Environmental Condition Report. Yeah, they do. That's a real thing. Don't laugh at me.
Okay. So what do they include in that ECR, Kandas? How does that work?
Floodplains.
Floodplains.
Yeah, if it's in a flood zone, if there's been any environmental hazards in the area, lead found in the ground, different things like that in the water.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
You've seen them. I printed one out. We've had this conversation months ago. You're like, there's no such thing.
I know. I'm just
yes,
giving you a
there
hard
are.
time. I'm just giving you a hard time.
What? What's going on? Do we need to exit the studio? What's happening?
Looking for a buzzer.
Oh my gosh! Look what you've started. Now I've got two of you.
That's funny. Oh man, Chad. At least she's not yelling at you, right?
He's
That's
still
great.
funny at this point, but I'm sure it'll. I'm sure it'll get there.
It's gonna wear off soon, right?
The funny will wear off.
The novelty is almost gone. Okay, HUD houses.
Bid
all right?
online, buy discounts,
They have a
lots of info.
PCR. They have a property condition report and apparently an ECR. Okay, environmental condition report.
You know that's a real thing.
I know. So anyway, the cool thing about the PCR, okay, the cool thing about the PCR is HUD hires an asset manager. The asset manager's job is to dispose of the property. They're supposed to sell it. They're going to send somebody out to winterize the house, to change the locks, to lock it up, and to, they put all the stuff across the toilet and across the sinks, that the house has been winterized, and they change the locks and they put a lockbox on it. And they also, they hire field service reps that go out and do that, okay? Now, they also have them go out and do a condition report, that PCR.
Right.
Now, the cool thing about this PCR is all of the major items of a house, not paint and carpet, not countertops or anything like that, but the major items like HVAC, okay, appliances, and
Roof. Yep.
right, and structural and electrical and wiring, and water heater, and I said HVAC. So all of the major items are going to be listed, and they test all those things, okay?
Right.
They test the electrical outlets, they test the lights, they test the plumbing. Will it hold pressure? They test to make sure the air conditioner and the heat come on, and if the appliances are there, and they check the roof as well.
Right.
So those are all the major items. So the great thing about it is, what's left? What's left? It's all cosmetic. Lipstick, right? As they call it. It's all just cosmetic. Paint and carpet, and cabinets and stuff like that, okay? So the cool thing about that is with the PCR, you have so much detailed information
right
to
up
go
front.
in from the first of the deal, right? So that's very, very important. The other thing I like about HUD houses is the carpet has already been removed.
If
there was like animals in there or something, it's already been removed. It's also already been cleaned out. So the house has been cleaned out, but if the house smells, I've never been into a smelly HUD house. Never. Right?
That's true, though, think about it. I can't think of one either.
I've seen some that were, even from the pictures, from the pictures online, you look at it and you can tell if they smoked in the house because they have little squares and rectangles all over the walls.
Right.
Where, it like stained the walls a yellow color.
Right.
So, but they've been cleaned out. If it's smelly, the carpet's been removed, and the PCR gives you a tremendous amount of data.
Another thing that I've seen them do is if there's a deck and it's missing like a banister rail or the little, what are those little things that hold the rail up? If there's things missing where it's not safe, they make the property safe as well. Or if there is a back door that goes off and there were no steps in one of the pictures previously online, then they put like a set of just, moderate steps.
It's safety.
So, right, yeah. They comply with all of like safety regulations when it comes to the house too.
Also, if there's a pool in the backyard, they will put a frame with wire and stuff over it.
Right.
So, if you get in there, you can't get out.
That's right.
No, so you can't get in there. So you can't get in there, right? So yeah, they do all that. But now I want you. Another thing I like about HUD is what's called a daily auction. You can bid on a HUD house every single day. Every single day.
Which we do.
That's right, we do. And in fact, when a HUD house is first released and first on the market, okay, when it's brand new and it's hitting the market for the first time, typically, not every time, but typically the first 15 to 30 days, only owner-occupied buyers can bid. In other words, if you're buying as an investor, you have to wait during that bid period. That's called an exclusive bid period, when only owner-occupied buyers can bid, because HUD, they're trying to promote home ownership.
Right.
So they want to give first shot at this house to somebody that's going to live in it.
Improve the community, pride of ownership, all that stuff. Right.
I always get people that ask me, well, what if I just buy it to live in it and I move out? Or I just decided I wanted to flip it, Well, that is fraud, okay?
If you go into it knowing that up front, yes, that's fraud.
Right, but I have had students that have actually bought the house, okay? Like I had a student that bought one to live in it. They did buy a HUD house to live in it.
The double wide? The one we got
No, this
pictures
was
of?
another one.
Oh.
But they bought the HUD house to live in it directly from HUD, and they were out there remodeling it, and HUD sent a field service rep out to look at it to verify occupancy and to see if they were planning on moving into it. Or if they didn't live in it yet because they were still rehabbing it, but they did send somebody out to verify. But after that 15 or 30-day period, then it's what's called an extended listing, okay? And then anybody can bid on it. And when we come back from the break, I'm going to tell you more about why I love HUD houses and how to get deep discounts on them.
You guys give a call to 877-LARRY-GO. We'll get you set up with the Investor's Kit, digital if you can't come by the office, physical if you can, and take a tour. We've got the 3-day event coming up next weekend in Charlotte. We can get you registered for that. Check out all of the rest of all the previous shows on bragradio.com or send an email in to me, info@bragradio. 877-LARRY-GO. We'll be right back. We're back. Okay. Hey, I'm
Oh
just
my gosh,
talking
we're
to-
back.
Chad's like sneaking. He's like, I'm ready to go home. So we are back. Welcome
back.
to Bragg Radio. Bragg Radio.
And we're back to Van Halen, too.
There you go. Are
Yeah,
you hyped
baby.
up? What is this segment? This is third?
Is this the third segment? Oh, my
Jeez.
gosh. Time flies when
We
you're having
lose
fun.
track of time at night, and the night shows we just don't have a plan.
Is that crazy?
It's ridiculous, is what it is. I need to be a better integrator, keep us on track.
That's
I'm
kind of
just
what I was
chatting
thinking.
with Lynn over here, and Chad's starting to play music. I thought he was doing something with the last segment, and then we're coming back.
Here we are. Okay, so we're talking about HUD houses. Everybody wants to know, how do I get a HUD house at a deep discount? We talked about HUD as a daily auction. All HUD bids are submitted at HUDhomestore.com. They give you a PCR, property condition report. The first 15 to 30 days are typically open to owner-occupied buyers only. Then investors or nonprofits or government agencies can bid on them after the fact, okay? So next what I want to do is, we also talked about the PCR gives you all the major items, right?
And we also talked about it being able to be, that they winterize it, that they clean it, that it's safe, and that it's, I think you said daily auction.
Right. So the next thing I want to talk about is what happens when you bid, okay? As I mentioned, all bids are put in by an agent with what's called an NAID number, National Identifier Number, all right? And we pay an assistant to put in the bids for us through our agent, okay? That's what we do. So that way the agent doesn't have to do any work, right? Because we're bidding on every house in North and South Carolina and Georgia every single day.
Yeah, we're kind of needy, and they've got a lot of other clients. So
I'm
it
glad
just works
you finally
out.
admitted it, Kandas.
What, we instead of you? Or what?
What? Oh,
As a
that
client.
hurt.
As a client, I mean, we are kind of needy because sometimes when you're evaluating these deals, you need a bid to go in, or you've got a little bit of wiggle room over just our standard percentages that go in every day. So having somebody that we can call and say, hey, we need to adjust this bid amount a little bit. Agents have a lot of things going on, so having an assistant that we pay for to help with just specifically our bids is beneficial for both parties.
That's great. That is great. Yo.
Does it cost anything to submit a HUD bid?
No, it doesn't cost anything at all. Would you like to bid on one?
Maybe.
There you go. Hey,
We got them
Chad's
in.
jumping in the game. That's awesome. He's
It's only
fired up.
taken a year and a half for either one of them to pay attention to
I
what
know,
we say.
right? Lynn still can't get off of Zillow from the last show. I found Zillow. I found a house I want to live in. See, that's the biggest problem. Most newbie investors, you're
You
what's called a
big old
newbie.
noob.
They're like, wow, I really like that house. Okay, here's tip number one. Do not get emotionally attached to a house. Right?
Any house.
It's all based on the numbers.
Everything
right?
you have should be for sale for the right price.
Every house you have should be for sale.
Talk
for the
to my
right
brother
price.
is everything. Anything and everything's for sale.
That's funny. So, okay. So what happens when you put in a bid? When your agent puts in a bid, remember HUD is a daily auction, okay? When your agent puts in the bid, or their assistant, or you through your agent or whatever, when the bid goes in, okay, one of three things are going to happen. Nothing happens and your bid simply expires. Nobody has any further obligation. So if you don't hear from HUD's asset manager the following day, it means they did not take your bid, okay? Now, the second thing that may happen is maybe the house is listed for $60. You offered, let's say you could pay 40, but you offered 30, okay? So it's listed for 60, you offered 30, and you could go up to 40, all right? But they could counter back. That's the second thing that may happen. They counter back, all right? So maybe they're asking 60, they might counter back at 45 or 50 or maybe even 55. I've seen them counter back within $1,000 of list price, but I've also seen them counter back close to what your bid is as well. So it's like poker. You can't win it if you ain't in it. Right?
Well, and you never know what their numbers on the back end are telling them they have to get for this house.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. So The first thing that can happen is nothing. Your bid expires. Second thing is you could get a counter. Now, if you get a counter, let's say you offered the 30 and let's say they countered it at 50. All right. So you could do one of four things when you get a counter. Number one, you can do nothing, and the counter simply expires that night at midnight. Okay. The second thing you could do is you could counter back. All right. Let's say you bid 30, they countered at 50, you could counter back at 40, all right? The third thing you could do is just forget the counter and submit a whole new bid for, say, 40, okay? And the last and final thing that you can do when you get a counter is you could accept it, all right? That's the place you want to get to, where you accept it, right?
Right.
Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay, so you can do nothing, it expires, you get a counter, and then you can do one of four things. You do nothing, the counter expires, you counter back, you submit a new bid, or you accept it, okay? And then the third thing is that could happen when you submit a bid, like I said, is they accept your bid.
Right.
That's what you're looking for right there. That's the payday, right?
Yeah.
So now, once you get your bid accepted, here's what happens, all right? Now you have 2 days to get all your paperwork and your deposit in. Now, if the bid amount that they accepted is $50,000 or less, the bid or the deposit, the earnest money deposit is going to be $500. If it is over $50,000, it's going to be $1,000. All right, it's that way all across the United States.
What happens when a realtor tells you that you've got to put down more?
Now, when your realtor or agent or
that's
an
happened
agent,
to some of our students.
It has happened to them, and all you have to do is tell them, well, according to HUD's guidelines, all they require is, $500 for below $50,000 or $1,000 over $50,000. That's all they require. Okay, so when an agent tries to get you to put up more earnest money deposit, they're just trying to get you more in the glue. Okay. They want you to put up more money and be more committed than just a $500 or $1,000 deposit, right?
Right.
So you've got 2 business days to get your paperwork in. Now, until just about probably, 4 to 6 months ago, you had to send everything in a physical copy, and you had to sign it in blue ink.
So it's original.
And originals and all that. But now what you can do is you can do it digitally. They will digitally send the documents to you through a service like DocuSign, and then all you have to do is digitally sign them and then send in the money. Now, you can't send in a personal check. You can't send a company check like for your LLC.
The money still has to be in 2 days, right?
The money still has to be in 2 days, and it has to be an official check. Okay, depending on the asset manager and what part of the country you're in, you could wire the money in, or you could send in like an official check, a bank check, or a money order, something like that. Does that make sense?
Bank check.
Bank check or certified funds. Certified funds is a bank check.
That's what we do.
Yeah, or like a money order. That's what we do. We go to the bank like every few days, right, and when we get bids accepted, and then we just get the deposits going. Right?
Yep.
Yeah, good. So when we come back, I'm going to talk to you about how some strategies to look for to be able to pick up your deals at deep, deep discounts no matter where you are buying or where you live, right?
Sure.
Right. In the meantime, Kandas will tell you how you can get a free copy of HUD Homes Half Off and more.
HUD Homes Half Off is included in the Investor's Kit. You can come out of the office, schedule a tour, and come out of the office and pick up the physical version, or we can send you the digital version out to your email. Just give Larry Goins a call, Larry Goins' office a call, 877-877-LARRY-GO, and I can get that squared away for you. We've also got the 3-day event coming up next week, and very, very few seats remaining if you guys are wanting to come to that, but I can take care of that for you too. 877-LARRY-GO. Welcome back. You're listening to Bragg Radio, investing in real estate to be rich and generous. This is Kandas.
And Larry.
He's there. He's sometimes here, he's sometimes not. Anyway, we've been talking about HUD this time. If you were able to give a call to 877-LARRY-GO, like I saw several people doing, and I haven't been able to answer your call because we're doing the show, I will get back to you. Don't get mad.
That's right. That's right. Kandas can't help it. She's really good, but she can't be on the radio and on the phone at the same time.
Yep.
Unless I'm talking. Right?
And that's only me. It's only texting.
I know, right?
With stuff that's happening with
and
the
you
house.
do that. You do that sometimes.
Well, I mean, we do. We have some really good people that work with us, and they work, whenever there's something to do. So if there's something going on with the house, or they've got a buyer lined up, or somebody, they found out about a new house we could put bids on, they send questions all times of the day, every day of the week.
That's good. That's good. Okay, so when we went to the break, we said we were going to come back and talk about, I was going to show you how you could buy HUD houses at deep, deep discounts, okay? So basically what I want to talk about is looking for anomalies, okay? Looking for anomalies in pricing and in other things as well. For example, okay, a couple things I've noticed. The longer a HUD house is on the market, the deeper discount they're willing to take. So if you find a HUD house and you look at them and sort them by the number of days on the market, the ones that have been on the market for around 65 to 75 days, those are the ones that they're willing to take, 60, 50, 40, even 30% of list price sometimes, okay? That's going to ultimately depend on the condition and where it is and that sort of thing. But those are the ones that we've seen that they will take a discount. We've also seen properties that are mispriced. Look for mispriced properties. We bought a house one time. It was listed for $44,000 and we paid $45,600 for it. We paid 103% of list price. And we turned around. We didn't touch it. We didn't do anything to it, and we sold it for $89,900. And it appraised for more than that. So we paid $46,000 for it, or $45,600 for it, and we sold it for $89,900. And we had it listed for $99,900, but we ended up taking an offer for $89,000, and we ended up having to put a water heater in it because our buyer's lender did a home inspection, and it came up that it needed a water heater, so we spent $400 on that. So we netted almost $40,000 after it was done. And we paid over retail. So look for mispriced properties. That's very, very, very important. Also, you want to look for properties that they've made a mistake in the number of bedrooms. For example, I've seen HUD have houses listed and they said they were a 2-bedroom. And when you look on other websites or pull up some data from the public records, it ends up being a 3-bedroom house instead of 2. And a lot of people aren't even searching for a 2-bedroom. So it may not even come up in their search results, right? Mm-hmm. So they'll have it listed as a 2-bedroom, but it'll end up being a 3-bedroom. And I've seen some that are 3-bedroom, they say, and it ends up being a 4-bedroom. In addition to that, the number of baths. We've seen a lot of them that say they have 1 bath, but they really end up having 2, or they say they have 2 and they end up having 3. Okay.
Yeah, it usually doesn't go down. They usually don't say that there's 2 and then there's only 1. Right. They usually miss 1 instead of discount it by 1.
And it's funny. Sometimes you even, you can look at the pictures. It'll say it's a 3-1, but they have the pictures of 2 different bathrooms.
Right.
You can tell there's 2 different bathrooms, right?
So
it's not the same one. So anyway, they have it listed in there wrong. The other thing that I've noticed is the square footage. I've seen some of them that were, maybe it had 900 square feet, but in reality, they forgot to put the 1 in front of it. It had 1,900 square feet. And you can kind of tell by looking at it, but a lot of people will search for properties and they'll put in their search criteria, and they may say, I want at least 1,000 square foot, 3-bedroom, 2-bath. Well, if it was mispriced, or if it was the wrong number
Like
of bedrooms,
mislabeled, yeah.
anomalies. If it was, wrong number of bedrooms, wrong number of baths, or, it was really 1,900 square feet instead of 900, it wouldn't even show up in the search results.
Right.
Okay? So that's very important. That's why we, as an organization, we make an offer on everything every day in the whole state.
Right, on
Okay?
HUD.
That's right. On HUD we do. Which brings me to the next thing about how to get properties at deep discounts. I will tell you, in the larger cities and the MSAs, that's metropolitan statistical area, like where we are right now, beautiful uptown Charlotte. So in Charlotte, the MSA, metropolitan statistical area, it would include Charlotte and probably Gastonia and York or Rock Hill, which is in York County, South Carolina, as well as Monroe, like where you live, and other areas.
I live
like
in
that.
Waxhaw. I don't live in
okay.
Monroe.
I thought it was close. It's close to Monroe.
It's close, but
Very close.
I'm not claiming Monroe.
Okay. Hey, it's okay. We have Monroe listeners.
We have
Right.
tons of Monroe listeners. There's nothing wrong with the people.
We used to have Monroe listeners.
There's nothing wrong with
as
the
Lynn
people.
just said.
Nothing wrong with the people. I am not claiming the city. That's
Oh,
all.
okay. All right, I get it.
I
get
will
it.
claim Waxhaw all day. Mineral Springs, even I'll claim.
I love Waxhaw.
Mineral Springs has like one stoplight.
Really?
Yeah,
That's
claim
good.
it all day. Don't care for the city of Monroe.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, back to HUD houses.
It's a sore spot, Lynn. It's a sore spot.
There's something going on there. I'll find out what it is and let you know later, Lynn. I'll find out what that's about. So, anyway, so what was I talking about? Oh, MSAs. So, needless to say, there's a lot more people in the large cities where there's MSAs, the city and the surrounding areas. So, it's much, much more difficult to get a property at a deep, deep discount if you're in a major city. For example, we're right here in the Charlotte MSA, where our office is in Lake Wiley, and we're right here in the Charlotte MSA, but it's been over 3 years since we have bought a house in Charlotte, right?
Right.
So, the other key to getting properties at a deep discount, and in addition to looking for the anomalies, is just bid on everything. And you're going to get stuff in the small towns because they are much more likely to bid on properties that are in small towns. Now, I'm not saying to go out to all the rural areas or anything like that, but what I am saying is, you don't have to be right in the city. You can go outside the city in the smaller towns, the bedroom communities, outside of the major MSAs, and you're going to be able to get some deals on HUD houses. Because think about it, there's less competition. There's less people bidding on the houses. If you're in Charlotte and you got 3 or 4 or 5 people bidding on a HUD house every day, they're not going to drop that price a lot, okay, until it's gone. In the small town where you might have one person bidding on a HUD house a week or every couple of weeks or something, and most people don't really know that HUD is a daily auction. They might bid on it one time, and then they give up. Oh, they didn't take it? Oh, okay, and then they move on. We bid on everything every day. So, number one, we're looking for the anomalies. We're bidding on everything everywhere, and we don't give up. We don't give up. So, that's a lot about HUD houses, but there's so much more to learn about HUD houses. And if you want a free copy of the book, Kandas will tell you how to get it.
Thanks, Lynn. Free copy of the book is included in the investor's kit. You can give 877-LARRY-GO a call, and I can get the digital kit out to you, or you can schedule an office tour and come by and pick up the physical kit. We also talk a lot about HUD at the 3-day events. So we've got the Charlotte 3-day event coming up at the end of the month. I can get you registered for that as well. And let's see, we can talk about, the kits. Oh, show notes. You can give an email into info@bragradio.com, and I can get the show notes out to you from today's show if you happen to be driving and not able to take them for yourself. You guys have a great weekend.
Thank you, Kandas. And that is going to wrap up today's Brag Radio, leading the world to be rich and generous. For more information about what Larry and Kandas talked about on today's show, or to get a free investor's kit, call 877-LARRY-GO. That's 877-527-7946. You can also go to bragradio.com. Make sure to tune in every Saturday for Bragg Radio, leading the world to be rich and generous. Larry and Kandas will show you how to invest in real estate and the many ways real estate creates the ideal investment here on News 1110 99.3 WBT.